We made it. We made it. Happy Friday.
Cakes and pies. Good job, everybody. Happy Friday. Coach Kyle Evans, Coach Marcus Heflin, me with the flex, him with the salute. We're happy to be here with you guys today. And Marcus, we have an absolute banger of a guest, man. Just someone who is crushing it, just as a person, as a mom, as an agent, like all the things, right? And before we get to share that person with the world, let's talk foundation, brother.
Let's do it, man. What's that bold law of the week this week, sir?
Your network is your net worth, guys. Who you surround yourself with will be directly tied to how much income you have.
Couldn't agree more. And our foundation for your DTD2 schedule this week, you're going to end it strong. If we have not made those calls this week, you get another day. The week is not done. It's I and Q. Everybody with the last name that begins with an I or a Q, call them up. Let them know. Mindshare time. Got to stay in touch with people, especially around this holiday season. That being said, we're moving on to some big things right here, right now. Okay, here's the deal. This person I actually met in the Bold Room for the first ever time. And at that point in her career, she was just getting going, just figuring out what her and real estate and what that marriage looked like, right? I got to see that portion. And now to see her where she is and absolutely dominating the San Diego area, in addition to YP. And for anybody that is unfamiliar, that's KWYP, that's Young Professionals. She is a national advisor for KWYP. In addition, she is the co-founder of Coastline Real Estate Group in San Diego, who did over 60 million in volume in 2024. Mom to Charlotte, and I believe we got a new up and coming baby in February. All right, please welcome Shaylee, please. Hey, there she goes.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I am honored, and happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, we ask every guest, obviously I got the resume a little bit, and yet we ask every guest to let everybody know kind of a quick bio, like a quick come up story on where you started and where you are right now.
Perfect. So yes, I started my career in 2019. I had the honor of taking Bold with Marcus in 2019. I was scared to death, and I still took it. I was a brand new agent with tons of experienced agents, and I can honestly say that was the launching point for my career. That changed everything for me. And so it got me in the right habits and all of that good stuff. I built my business in that market on open houses. And then 2020 came along. I decided to move to San Diego, a brand new market, with my better half, Ray Frazier, and I didn't know anyone here. Boom, COVID hit. And I was like, how am I going to build a business here with no database? At that point, I decided to lean into agent referrals. And now agent referrals are my number one lead generation source. It is the framework that I have built my entire business and company on, and I am super proud of it. Also, I am a mom in real estate, which is an incredible thing. I have one on the way, due in a couple months, and navigating that work-life counterbalance is something that I am still figuring out. The first time I was pregnant was my worst year in real estate ever. This time that I'm pregnant is my best year ever. So I've learned a lot along the way. We are doing big, big things with our San Diego team, Coastline Real Estate Group, and I am super proud of where we're at right now.
Man, well, Marcus, allow me, allow me, because one of the things that I'm hearing there, my guy, and I'm sure you're picking up what she's putting down too, is an oldie but a goodie. Reasons or results, fam. This person just gave you a master class on reasons or results. New town, no database, pregnant, all the COVID, all the things, and in a short amount of time went from new agent to $60 million producing team. Like, come on, somebody. Are you listening? Are you picking up what she's putting down right here? My God.
You are
That
too
kind of
kind. I am
Well,
flattered.
hey, Shaylee, that kind of story reminds me of that thing that Gary always tells us, right? You can be anywhere you choose to be in 5 years. And shoot, you did it in much less time than that. So big kudos. And guys, if you have not met Shaylee in person, when you meet her, you're automatically best friends. Even if you didn't want a best friend, it's there, right? And I think that coincides really well with how you've grown your agent referral network. I would love if you could share a little bit of insight, because that kind of volume and that being your bread and butter, man, there's got to be some systems and models behind the scenes that you're running and working with. So what kind of stuff would you be open to sharing with everybody out there if they were looking to grow that piece of their business?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a full system built on agent referrals and our agent referral partners. We classify them in the database exactly like people classify their local database, right? So A pluses, A's, B's, C's. We just label them by agent. And with that, we have a full 52-point touch system around that. What that looks like, I actually, for Keller Williams agents, I have it in Command. I built it in 2020 as a smart plan. It's public, and I still use that same plan today. We have modified it greatly to include a lot of other things. But number one is just adding value. What I learned really quickly is that agents love to share about where they're at in their business. And during COVID, people were craving that connection, right? So I would just cold call agents. I would just pick up the phone and dial for agents. I spoke with an agent by the name of Jordan Pyle, who absolutely changed the trajectory of that agent referral business. He was really involved in KWYP at the time. I had never heard of it. And he told me a little bit about it. He said, "You need to start one in San Diego." I said, "Great, sign me up." I really dove into hitting those metrics to be able to start a chapter. I took the KPA, right? And I'm going a little bit off track here, so I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
I took the KPA, and my leadership score was really, really low. It was at like 27%. And I was like, how am I going to lead a chapter? I can't, right? You have to score high in leadership. So I dove into that community and the people. Those people are who built who I am today. They gave me the leadership skills to not only grow that KPA score, but have the ability to lead a top producing team, or starting with leading my clients and building that database, right? And so I leaned into all of the training, resources, education, and I took my KPA again, and it grew to an 89%, which is just mind blowing. And leadership has been like a theme throughout my career, right? So I really, really think that leadership has allowed me to talk with more agents, make that referral database even greater, and grow it. So back to the 52-point touch system. So we start the relationship, we put them on in our database on the system, and then from there it's all about building the relationship. So relationships first, always. We host monthly agent masterminds via Zoom, and then we also have just a drawn out email campaign system, a drawn out DTD2 we do with agents as well, and a social media system as well.
Kyle, like, I'm sitting there. I took a page of notes with just what they're doing on agent referrals. And I've heard countless times in so many rooms, well, agent referral, that's not really my thing. And when somebody decides to make it their thing and go all in one arena, the results show. Shaylee, I love everything that you said here. What I heard though, over the connections and over, starting this chapter, this, that, and the other, what I heard was you were informed you weren't a good leader, aka you were informed that your score was a little bit lower than what you desired. So you decided to grow. you decided, I'm not going to let that define me. I'm going to change. I'm going to improve. I'm going to get this skill set a little bit higher. You went from a 27 to a what?
89.
89. My goodness. Like, and that comes from growing yourself first, guys. We always go back to your business grows to the extent that you do. Had Shaylee not decided to grow, I wonder, and I'm curious what we would be talking about as far as volume today. Kyle, what did you hear in all that, man?
Well, I'm glad you brought me in, Marcus, because I've
For
been
sure.
making this stank face ever since she talked, because all I heard was value, 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 contribution, value. And then I realized, how am I not in this database? I got to get in this database, man. Like, guys, if you build something that is giving away so much value that people desire to be in it, that's how you win. While she's talking about this, my mind is triggered to being like, dang, I need to get in this. That's how she's winning, guys. It's not hand out, it's coming with a hand full. So I want you to pay very close attention to what she's saying here. This stuff takes time, it takes intentionality, planning, work. It's not just, oh, I called a couple agents a few times and I have this robust business. She is out here doing the dang thing, man. So I highly suggest you go find that smart plan. I highly suggest you reach out to Shaylee, because she's out here dropping bombs.
You guys are so sweet. And I mean, to add on to that too, right? We just, at the beginning of this year, we sat down and said, where has most of our business come from? And it's been agent referrals for a couple years now. And so we said, how can we expand that to create $1 million business?
Yeah.
Only from agent referrals. What does that look like? What do we need to do? Yeah.
So time out real quick. It begins with the question that you ask yourself.
Yeah.
First and foremost, everybody hear me out there. Are you asking, how do I make 6 figures this year? Or are you asking, how do I create $1 million business through one avenue? And it's going to have multiple, yet this avenue, we're going to grow this first. It all begins with the question. Shaylee, I love that that was the question. How do we make $1 million business out of this first? Keep going. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh, no. So we completely changed all of our systems. We thought long and hard about what we need to implement to change that. We started doing agent events too at the big conventions of the year, which has been so fun and so on brand. And that's the other thing I kind of wanted to touch base on, is that we have a very, very strong brand that my hope is that it's recognized at a national level. So when people think of Shaylee, when people think of Coastline Real Estate Group, they think of San Diego, or the opposite. Sorry, pregnancy rate.
No, you got it. You got it. San Diego, it's you. Mind share, right? With everybody out there. That's
Totally,
perfect.
yeah.
Well, I would venture a guess that a lot of our agents out there, especially the ones who just went through the BOLD program, when they think Orlando, they think of Ken Pozak, right? So when they think of San Diego, that's your goal, to have that much mind share. That's like, there's no other option out there in San Diego. That's a wonderful, wonderful vision, but it all begins with the question. I love that you led with that. Shaylee, I'm going to ask you, because on the come up like this and with the grind, I'm sure it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, right? I'm sure you got hit with some animosity and maybe some setbacks and all the things. So not necessarily the details of those. How do you, when you are pursuing something and you jump in, how do you deal with a failure? And I put quotes around that. How do you deal with a setback? How do you deal with limiting beliefs? Any of those things. What are some best practices that keep you going?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that a long time ago, when I was new in this industry, I used to take everything really personally. I'm a highly emotional and attached person. And so having to detach from the business side of things has been something I have had to learn at a great extent. I learned early on to have a 5-second funeral and then kind of ask yourself, what could I have done better? And that's been the most challenging part for me, right? It's hard to not want to blame that person. It's hard to not want to say, well, screw this guy. I'm going to go out like he doesn't know what he's talking about. it's hard to not say that. So you have to ask yourself, what could I have done differently? What could I have done better? Even if it's just a small tweak. And that's come a lot with agent referrals, as I'm sure you can understand. You have a lot of the time are interviewing with multiple agents in your market. And so that's kind of how I have built myself to stand out from the masses that are competing for all of these agent referrals, is to identify what I can do differently and better than anyone else. Actually, fun fact, my second deal ever was an agent referral. And someone in our office said, agent referrals are no way to build a business. You have to give up part of your commission. Don't do it. Don't get into it. And I said, I'm going to do it anyways. So it's kind of funny that I'm here today.
$60 million in 1 year later.
Yeah. We need to send them this clip real quick. Okay. That's it. We need to inform them. Hey, remember me?
Yeah.
Shaylee, describe for those who have never heard the terminology 5-second funeral.
Mm-hmm.
So you take 5 seconds to kind of mourn and be upset about the problem or what went on. And then after that 5 seconds, it's all about growth.
Kyle, she's getting me pumped up on Friday, man. This is supposed to happen on a Monday. It's happening on a Friday. Now what am I going to do with my weekend?
More business, I imagine.
Let's go. Shayla, this is all absolutely fantastic. I'm going to go one step further on the personal side, okay? Because your mindset, the 5-second funeral, always moving forward. Obviously, you're very growth-minded, right? With your leadership and the come up there and literally seeing the data scores. You got this special human being in your life named Ray. You've got a little beautiful girl that y'all treat like $1 million. You got another one on the way, arriving around family reunion. Maybe we'll see. And yet you're yourself. You've got your own, personal pursuits, passions, life. You've got the business. My goodness, you're balancing like 48 plates. How do you find the counterbalancing in life? And you've already said it, like you're learning more about it. What have you found that's really helped you be able to focus where your feet are?
So really focusing on the goal and where I want to go. Ray dreams really, really big, and I do too, but he is like the dreamer, right? And so having that in my life and surrounding myself with all of those types of people through KWYP, through Keller Williams, and just friends in general, I think is the most critical component to that, because I want people in my life who are moms that are building big careers and big businesses. That's what I want, and that's what I feed off of. And when you're in that environment, you want to do more, you want to succeed. And it's been very challenging. We chose not to have childcare for the first about year and a half. And so I was just grinding while watching our daughter. She was at my hip 24/7. And I did that as long as I could. And what I really wanted to focus on was, what activities can I do that are still productive, that she can be with me, right? And so we had to adjust and create this schedule where my lead generation, I'm trying to include her. All of my appointments, she cannot be with me. So yeah, tackling that, navigating that, and then always having the end goal in mind, surrounding myself with people, listening to the Empire Builders podcast has been a huge help. And then also I'm so grateful that I have weekly leadership coaching with Kaleo, who has completely changed our team structure and our business. And I am just immensely grateful for that.
Shout out to the Polynesian prophet of profit, Agent K.
Yeah, totally.
Marcus, I put a story that I think everyone should read at the bottom of this. It's titled Reasons or Results. It's the Shaylee story. Right. That's yet again what she's talking about over and over again. We chose not to do childcare. So instead of letting that impede me, I said, what can I do while doing this? Like, it's the constant pursuit of solution-based thinking. And it is amazing to see that. And I know success leaves clues. And as I'm just unpacking all these things that you're saying, to me, that's one of the things, that's one of the reasons you keep finding a way to succeed, because of your solution oriented thinking. And it's something, in my opinion, that should be admired.
Thank you so much for saying that. I a lot of the time have like imposter syndrome, right? I'm like, wait, I did that, but I feel like year 5 earlier, Marcus, you said in 5 years you can be anywhere you want to be. I feel like year 5, I am there. So it's like incredible. Yeah.
I love it. Well, we've been diving into a John Maxwell book that's really resonating all over your story and everything that you're talking about as far as your the come up, right? And part of it was, in a transformational leader, they see things that others don't see. They do things that others don't do, right? We talked about that last week. And everything that you're talking about, you're seeing a solution, or at least searching for it. You are doing things that others are making excuses to avoid, right? And that's not a judgment thing. It's just a factual thing, right? And yet you're not letting anything slow you down. It is a wonderful thing to have a family and to be fully present. That doesn't mean you have to give up something else if you so choose. It may just not look like sitting at home all day, right? It may look a little different. And please hear me, that's from a dude perspective. All right. I am not a mom, and I never will be. So there's no judgment here. And yet you're hearing it from a dynamic leader in this organization that's about to be balancing 2, right? And if we're being honest, if you know Ray, she's balancing 3. All right. It is what it is.
No doubt. Let's spade a spade here, right? She's already got 2. She's working on a 3rd.
Yeah. Well,
Completely. Yes.
Shaylee, we would love for you to be able to connect with everybody out there. Obviously, the agents that are seeing this and have any referrals for San Diego. But in addition to that, any kind of smart plans that are out there that may aid them, would love for you to put your contact information in the comments below. We have one more thing for you. All right. You've given us a ton of time, and we appreciate you. If you were to end this podcast with some parting words, if you will, for any agents out there listening, and really curious just about the way you view life, or any parting words whatsoever that may help them with their mindset, what do you have for them?
One of my absolute favorites is the quote that says, "The relationships you have determine your opportunity." One of the best predictors of personal success is social connection. I can honestly say that I would not be where I am today if I didn't go out and seek those connections and seek those opportunities. So just like I'm here because I know Marcus and Kyle, and so thank you guys so much for having me. I am honored, and you guys can all please reach out to me on Instagram, Shaylee Sells San Diego.
Love it. Thank you so much, Shaylee, and we'll see you soon. Okay.
Bye, guys.